Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, professional colleagues, aspiring tax practitioners, and the general public. Thanks for joining us today for this live event. It promises to be thought-provoking and entertaining. While we wait for others to join us on this call, I will be acting on behalf of the host, Mr. Oriyomi Kasali, and I will be introducing some of the important guests that we have today while we wait for others to join. Joining me on this call today is a very important personality, a lead tutor with ICANN online tutor. He is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and also the Chartered
Who is there? Who? Who is there?
Hello everyone, sorry about that. I think we lost him due to network. Can you hear me? Good morning.
Good morning, it's Esther.
Okay, hi.
I can hear you. Good morning. Hi.
Good morning. Okay. Yeah, so kindly be patient. He'll join us shortly. I think his network connection logged him out.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Please, Mahmoud, can you mute your mic? Mahmoud, can you please mute your mic?
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Hope you can all hear me loud and clear.
Yes, you can.
All right, thank you so much. So we're still waiting for the host, and I was just introducing some of the facilitators for today. So Mr. Wasiu Olakunle is the lead tutor on taxation, and he would be talking today. Also, joining us today is Mrs. Karima Oni Lamina, who is a revenue manager with Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. She would be discussing about the roles of tax administrators. She is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. Also joining us today is Mr. Adeyemi Afolabi Smith, a senior tax manager with Pidabo, one of the big firms here in Nigeria. He would also be discussing about the opportunities that exist in the tax industry. If you are just joining us today, you are welcome. We appreciate you, and we are happy that you are here today. The program will be starting shortly. I'm waiting for the host to come in so that he can take over. Also speaking today is Miss Queen Esther, who is our customer support representative here at ICANN Online Tutors. She would be discussing today about all you need to know about the exams of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us today. So in few minutes time, the meeting will come to a start, God willing. So in 3 minutes or less, we are going to start officially. Okay. So in less than 3 minutes, we'll be starting officially. Thanks for joining us. So last but not the least, amongst the speakers today is Mr. Abdulkabir Obafemi Kadir, a tax consultant with many years of experience. He would be discussing today how to become your own boss as a tax consultant. Thank you for joining us, sir. Mr. Chukwuka Ejiofor, kindly make me the host. Thank you so much. While you do that, Mr. Chukwuka Ejiofor.
Sorry, sir. How do I make you the host?
Mr. Chukwuka Ejiofor, can you hear me? Mr. Chukwuka Ejiofor.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, kindly make me the host, please.
Sorry, how do I do that?
You can mute yourself while you do this.
Yes, I'm trying to ask, like, how do I do that? How do I make you the host?
Okay, just click on participants and click on my name. Then you click on make this person a host.
Yes, I've done that, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Ariyomi, if you are here, kindly signify so that we can start. Okay, I think we will just go ahead with the event while we expect Mr. Ariyomi to join us. I would like to also recognize the presence of one of the speakers today, and that is Mr. Abdulhafiz Adebimpe, a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, who will also be speaking to us today. Thank you for joining us, sir. Mr. Oriyomi. So we just go ahead. So first on the list is opening remark by Mr. Ridwan Teslim Layani, who is the founder and CEO of IOT Academy Limited. Thank you, everybody. And good morning to everybody. My name is Ridwan Teslim Layani, and I'm the founder and CEO of IOT Academy. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the IOT CITN Open Day. This event promises to be thought-provoking and enlightening. As tax professionals, we have a vital role to play in the development of our country. We are responsible for ensuring compliance with tax laws and regulations, providing tax advice and solutions to businesses and individuals, and contributing to tax policy formulation and implementation. We also have a duty to uphold the highest standards of ethics and professionalism in our work. To perform our role effectively, we need to constantly update our knowledge and skills in the dynamic and complex field of taxation. We need to be aware of the latest trends and developments in the global and local tax environment and how they affect our clients and stakeholders. We need to be innovative and adaptive to the changing needs and expectations of the society. That is why this event is very timely and relevant. It provides an opportunity for us to learn from renowned speakers who will share their insights and experiences on various aspects of taxation. It also provides a platform for us to network with people from different careers and backgrounds who share passion for taxation. I hope that we will all benefit from this event and use the knowledge gained to enhance our performance and impact. I would like to thank our speakers and also the listeners for joining this event today. We really appreciate your participation and attention. I wish you all a fruitful and enjoyable event. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you, everybody. That's the opening remark by the founder and CEO of ICANN Online Tutors. Without wasting much time, we'll quickly move to the next item on the agenda, which is all you need to know about the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. There are two speakers for this session. The first speaker is Queen Esther Upe, who is the IOT Customer Service Representative. And she will now be speaking to you on all you need to know about the CITN exams and any other information that will benefit professionals and participants today. Miss Queen Esther Okwe, thank you for joining us. You have the floor now.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, sir. Thank you for this great opportunity. Please, I would like to seek permission to become the host so I could share my screen, because it says here that the host disabled participants screen sharing.
Okay, and I a co-host.
Okay, sir.
Miss Queen Esther, please go ahead.
Okay, hi. Please, can you see my screen now? Sorry,
Yes,
I
we
was
can.
trying to share my screen. Okay, yes. So, good morning once again, everyone. My name is Upe Quinesta Emmanuel, and I am one of the customer service representative at ICANN Online Tutors. I'll be letting you know all you need to know about CITN. So first off, I'll be starting with the acronym CITN. It stands for the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, and the membership of the institute cuts across professions like accounting, law, and other there are 3 ways of attaining associate membership of the institutes. One is the graduate membership, the other is the direct membership, and the third is the student membership as seen on the slide here. Okay, so for the graduate membership, as the name implies, the graduate membership class comprises of candidates who have passed their prescribed examinations of the institute. It means that the institute actually gave them exams and they wrote and they passed. Then the direct membership is it comprises of candidates joining the institutes, having been exempted from some written examinations. And some of these members include applicants who already members of ICANN or ANAN, and also members of the ACCA, which is the acronym for the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, and also for persons or staff of relevant tax authorities. Basically, only the staff in core taxation departments will be eligible for this consideration. I mean, for direct membership. So we move on to the student membership. Please, can you hear me? Kindly indicate.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Oriomi. Okay, yes, so we move on to the student membership. And this is another route of joining the CITN, and application for the admission for students must be made from the online page, first of all, and then I'll proceed to the eligibility as a student member. So for every prospective candidates for admission as a student, for student membership rather, must possess a basic minimum educational qualification, and which is, of course, the first degree or HND, and also an NYSC certificate. Undergraduates as well can apply for this student membership, and what they need to possess is all 5 credits in O levels, in WAEC or GC or NECO, in not more than 2 sittings, including English and mathematics. And then also a letter of admission into a tertiary institution and a letter of recommendation from the candidate's head of departments. The great part about this student membership for both core members and undergraduates is that they are entitled to a special cost reduction package of 50%. I'll proceed to the registration procedures. So first off, the prospective professional students are required to apply online via the CITN website, and then also make payments for the student registration, which is also inclusive of the subscription and the identity card, which is 12,000 naira. And then the annual subscription for the year is 1,500, but this will be billed yearly after the registrations. So there are various levels of CITN. The first is the foundation level. The second is the professional taxation 1. And the third is the professional taxation 2. And examination are usually taken in twice a year, usually in April and October. Then we go to the exemption. For the exemption for foundation, the exemption form fee is 4,000 naira, and also the fee for the subjects per subject is 7,500. Then for the professional taxation 1, the exemption form fee is 4,000 naira. And then the price for the exemption per subject fee is 9,000 naira. And also for the professional taxation 2, the exemption form fee is 4,000 as well. And the exemption fee per subject is 10,000 naira. And then we would proceed to, okay, yes, our tutorial fee for CITN. The foundation level, we charge 5,000 naira per course, and there are 4 papers at this level. We also at the professional taxation 1, we charge 7,500 per course. There are also 4 papers at this level. And finally, at the professional taxation 2, it's 10,000 naira per course, and there are also 4 papers at this level. So what you'll be getting for this fee is the video lectures. We also will be having live Zoom classes, and there is a timetable to that. We would also have lesson notes that have been carefully prepared by our tutors. And also, you will be added to WhatsApp groups for interactions and communications and questions. You also be granted access to study packs and other reading materials. And then also there will be revision classes towards the end of the diet and also the mock exams. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much for that, my admin. God bless you for that wonderful presentation. Please, can I share my screen?
Yes, please. Sorry, let me see.
What do you want?
So please, can somebody confirm that you can see my screen?
We can't. Mr. Oriyomi Kasali.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone, once again.
Good morning, Mr. Oriyomi.
And I apologize for joining late. Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
What's going on? I hear my voice now.
Yes, sir, we can hear your voice loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Oriyomi. Please go ahead. But we are yet to see your screen. Your screen is not displaying yet.
All right, thank you so much. If you can all hear me. And that is that, all about what you really need to know about CITN, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, has been presented by Queen Esther Ukwe, who happens to be the head of the administrative department of the ICANN online tutor. Also, furthermore, we are having some speakers for today, and I'll be introducing them as we are calling them in. And I shall also be working alongside with the program that has been scheduled for today. Part of our speaker, as you can see on the screen, is we have Mr. Adeyemi Afolabi Smith, who will be discussing with us about the career opportunity in the tax industry. We also have Mr. Kadri Tabiru Obafemi, who will be telling us on how to become your own boss as a tax consultant. And we also have Mr. Abdulwasi Sani, who will be discussing with us the importance of having CITN exams. Also, among our speakers that we have is Madam Lamina Abolaji, who will be telling us about the role of tax administrators in Nigeria. And to cap it all, we have Mr. Pei, who will be telling us how to actually pass a CITN attempt. using with what? IOT. Okay. Actually, we have actually introduced the founder and the CEO, who happens to be Mr. Ridwan Teslim Laini, who happens to be a Chashazim, which was many years of experience in the e-commerce, edutech, finance management, consulting, admin, audit, and what? Tax as well. And he is the pioneer and the brain behind the fast rising best online tuition center in Nigeria, which currently poses as the first and foremost leading academic community, which what? The highest participant every diet and successfully passing rate, with a great testimony across the world and not just being limited to Nigeria, which is ICANN online tutor. Mr. Ridwan Laini is currently the head of accounting and auditing in a multinational conglomerate company known as Boss Integrated Services. Okay, so permit me to go to the next line item, which is the Sani to come and tell you I can to pass the CITN exam. Mr. Abdullah Sani, how are you doing today? Mr. Abdullah Sani, how are you doing today? Mr. Sani, are you there?
I'm with you, sir. I can hear you. Good morning.
Mr. Sani.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me, please?
Hello.
Hello.
Mr. Sani, are you there?
It's actually talking. It's actually, we can hear both of you.
Mr.
Can
Yomi, we
somebody
can
hear
hear
my
Mr. Sani.
voice?
We can hear you, Mr. Yomi, and we can hear Mr. Sani also. So let him go ahead.
Hello. Hello, please, can you hear my voice?
We can hear your voice, Mr. Yomi. Okay, Mr. Wasiu Sani, you can go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Please go ahead, Mr.
Of Taxation of Nigeria. Let's quickly look at the Tax Institute itself, how it started, the evolution. When we look at the Tax Institute, it started in 1982 as an association of tax administrators and practitioners. And later there was a reform to Institute of Taxation in the year 1982, month of February 2021 precise, as a statutory recognized in the month of May 1987 as a company limited by guarantee. Class, when we look at the roles and what are the advantages for joining this institute, if you want to join the Institute of Tax Administrator, definitely you will be given the acronyms and a certification to be regarded as an associate member or a fellow member. Be a fellow member and associate member. You can work as a tax practitioner. You can work as a tax administrator. You can work as a tax consultant. And there are various fields: tax manager of organization, tax compliance of an organization. You can work as the head of multinationals of this organization. And for you to be a member, as we've been explained earlier by Madam Esther, you have to be a student member or a direct member, either through the professional student membership, in which you are expected to take the exams. And this exam, she has explained, it comes in 3 stages, in which you have to pass the foundation, PTE1 and PTE2. And there are also some exemptions given to some people who has a qualification. What are these qualifications? In which we have the ICANN, we have the ANAN, we have the ACA. Also, you also have your BSc and degree in the field of accounting or degree in the field of taxation itself. You can also be given an exemption. And when you are given this exemption, you become a direct membership upon the induction into the membership of the CITN. So there are a lot of field opportunities that you can derive as being a member of CITN. And as a matter of fact, this advantage goes in a long way to the extent that you having an ICANN certificate will not guarantee you to practice as a practitioner or tax practitioner until you have this certification of CITN. So these are the advantages that goes. And we also believe that when you join these ICANN online tutors, we will give you more understanding on how to pass your exam on once without writing or having a reference. Because all the people here, being the lead tutor, we are ready to guide you perfectly and efficiently on steps to follow to actually attain this certificate without incurring more cost or without wasting your time. Thank you. As we move on, maybe I will be called upon to explain because of the time. I just have to make it brief in my explanation. Thank you very much. Hello. Hello.
We can hear you. We can hear you, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Because of time, so let me make it brief this way. As we move on, we'll be able to explain better. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Kasali, are you still with us?
Mr. Sani?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, are you true?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. So at this point, we have successfully come to an end of the first session, which is all you need to know about the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. So if you have any question, we can quickly take one or two questions. Simply do that by raising your hand, by signifying by raising your hand, or you can go ahead and unmute yourself. It's fine. Any question? Okay, one hand up. That person can unmute. That person, okay. I'm going to unmute that person now.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
You spoke about the direct membership for ICANN and ACCA associates. Please, can we know the breakdown, the cost, and the requirements for membership, and how it is going to come in play, please? Thank you very much.
All right. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for the question. Okay, so for the ICANN direct membership for ICANN students, so the applicants, sorry, ICANN members rather, the applicants must have been an accredited member of ICANN or ANAN or ACCA with a minimum of 1 year post-membership tax working experience.
Okay, what about the cost? What about the cost related to it?
As regards the cost, you will have to contact us to give you a breakdown of the cost you will be making. So you can reach out to us after this program on 070-4457-6011 or 0808-066-5292. I will send it in the chat box now.
Okay, Mr.
Okay, I'll just reach out on Instagram. I reached out on Instagram already. I'll just wait for a response.
Okay, no problems. Okay, that's fine also. Mr. Sani, please go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Sani. Mr. Sani, can you hear us? Okay, so we wouldn't want to waste much time. It's 10:47 already, and next on the agenda is career opportunities in the tax industry. And to do justice to that topic is Mr. Adeyemi Afolabi Smith, AAT, ACA, ACTI, ACFE, CMC, tax expert at PWO. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. You have the floor now, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the introduction, CEO. Very well appreciated. Okay, so I have about 15 minutes, just 15 minutes to walk through what we have, talking about what the career opportunities are, right, in the tax industry. And what that means is that for every advantage that you have, right, to practice taxation, there's always a benefit. And so talking about, say, an overview of the tax industry, right, you would agree with me that we run this country with different type of revenue, which is split into oil revenue and non-oil tax revenue. And the reason for having tax in every economy is so that you can be able to finance that economy, provide basic infrastructures, and run the economy. You cannot solely run the economy from other revenue without talking about taxation, especially in developed countries. Nigeria is also scaling up in recent times because there has been dwindling oil prices, global oil shock around the world, Niger Delta militant issues and all of that. It's becoming, energy sapping for government to just rely on oil revenue alone. So they are looking at exploring opportunities in the tax realm. And the importance of all of this is so that you can be able to, finance basic infrastructures, bridge the gap between the rich and poor, and, quite a lot of social amenities, and function as a government. And taxes are of two types. You can have direct taxes, you can have indirect taxes. Direct are the ones you bear, directly by yourself. And indirect are the ones who go through one stage or the other in the value chain before it gets to the final bearer. And so recently, there has been a growing demand for tax professionals. I think our relevance is even more in the recent times. As long as a country needs money and that they need to finance the economy, there will be need for government to collect taxes. So there's an increase in the demand for tax professionals now. Nobody wants to pay taxes unduly. Everyone wants to use tax avoidance instead of evading. They want to use the benefits of the loopholes that exist based on the peculiarity of their businesses to function. And so everyone needs a tax professional in their organization, and either as a consultant or an accountant or whatever. And the reason is because everyone wants to plan their taxes, right? No one wants to pay too much, especially in the country that we are. People pay taxes, but at the end of the day, you don't have light, you don't have road. Every Saturday we are with a mechanic trying to repair your shock absorber and all of that. So government needs money these days. They follow up with everyone, and so people need people who help them plan their taxes ahead of time to say, look, I think you can structure your transactions better in this dimension so that you don't get to pay as much taxes as other people are paying. And that is called tax avoidance, like I mentioned earlier. Tax planning can go in different, patterns. You could have transfer pricing. People could be looking for tax exemption, tax holidays, statutory returns, also talking about filing and all of that, tax allowances. People just want their taxes to be planned. And that is where you come in. It gives you prominence. It gives you relevance, because without this, you may not be able to function well as a tax professional. And with reference to what I mentioned earlier, your role as a tax professional, there are a lot of career opportunities in taxation. Quite a lot of career opportunities, because you can function in and out of an organization. as long as an economy runs. So the only way you don't get relevant as a tax consultant or a tax professional, a tax practitioner, is when a country does not exist. As long as a country exists, they want to finance the economy, there's going to be need for you as a tax consultant or a tax professional. And so you can look at this from 3 dimensions, right? We have colleagues who work in companies who are the tax accountants. Those are the guys who prepare the tax payments, check, check who is making payment for what services. Am I being liable some form of other taxes? They are the ones that put in structure in every organization to make sure that, okay, the company within its own purview is doing what they should do when it comes to taxation. And you could also have the tax analyst, right? Tax analyst could be someone who does the analysis of what belongs where. And then you could also have the tax consultant, which would mostly be the external party that you say, okay, let this firm handle my issues, help me with giving me expert opinions, help me to plan my taxes such that I get to reduce the kind of taxes that I pay and to what extent I have obligations. And so taxation would normally, function in two perspectives. It could be private, it could be public sector, and each of which have their, their pros and cons. And you would see that from the public part of it, right? The government has quite a lot of roles to play because government will function as a public sector, render governmental services, create defense, have social health care, have public education, law enforcement, and quite a lot of that. And so public sector roles in government tax agencies, that is talking about the IRSs in each of the states, right? Lagos Internal Revenue, Plateau Internal Revenue, and the federal, which is the FIRS that covers, the federal government taxes. And also private opportunities in the private sector, could be in accounting firms, could be in consulting firms, could be in corporations. And there you could have any of these roles and function in any of this capacity, which also includes your need as a tax person, which is why you would find it quite interesting. Now, to every career, right, has its own pros and cons. If you look at the screen now, you see the pros of each of these practices, right? Looking at the public and the private sector, you will see that these are the advantages. For private, it's profit-oriented, you have room to innovate, bring in new ideas, illuminate, to say that, look, I think things can be done better. It can give you, better quality, efficiency, and you can also have, quite a lot of exploration to do in the private sector. While in the public sector, like we mentioned earlier, the government is being able to, provide public goods, provide basic amenities, avoid monopoly and privatization so that government can sit at the end of affairs and add value to that economy and prioritizing public interest, in the economy, which makes it a better leverage. And the cons, the cons are quite clear. The cons means the disadvantages. You and I would agree that in every government setting, there's some level of bureaucracy, bottlenecks everywhere. So you could have poor quality, you could have little or no evidence of stewardship, accountability, you could have zero of that. It does not also give room for innovation. You cannot say, oh, you want to innovate in a government process. It's not your country. You are not the owner of the country. You're just a citizen of that country, which is the opposite of what you have in the private sector. And you could also have issues with quantity and quality when it comes to government regularization, because government, is made up of people from different backgrounds, professionals, non-professionals, and all of that. And talking about the cons for the private sector, you might have high cost of setup, for you to set up a firm or to say you want to practice on your own. You need your brain, yes, you need a laptop. You might also need a business place, right? You might also need to have, a set up transportation system so that you're not sweating all over, the country looking for how to, make tax compliance and all of that. And it also gives, part of the cons is that it gives room for monopoly, right? Just like we have in the country, we have very few firms who are well known and, all around the places, which ordinarily should not be. But it comes with the peculiarity of being in the private sector, right? Unhealthy competition. You could have people submit to say, I can do this tax, response or tax query. I can undo this for you. and you have, a fellow tax consultant who is saying, no, I can do it. So you can create, unhealthy tax competitions and all of that. Talking about the skills and qualification that you need some of these basic skills. You have to be as analytical as possible. A simple problem or a simple oversight that you have can put your client or your company into problem, right? So you need to be analytical. You need to pay attention to the minutest of details. You need to have problem-solving skill. Your communication must be top-notch. And you also need to make sure that you're not a manual tax professional. You're also being digital. Everything is getting innovative in recent times. Even FIRS is making compliance virtual so that everyone can comply from the comfort of their homes and all of that. And what are the educational requirements that you have and professional certifications that you will need to function? You probably need a degree, you probably need to get a master's degree or diploma or whatever degree, as long as it gives you a hedge in terms of your cognitive ability, to add value. And professional certification could start, necessarily, like one of the moderators said earlier, you need the CITN qualification, no doubt about that, to practice tax in the economy. And that's why you need to get that CITN qualification, very important. You could also get the ADIT qualification, which is Advanced Diploma in International Taxation. What that does is it helps you scale up in terms of your knowledge on cross-border activities. You want to invest in UK, you want to invest in the US, Canada, Germany, UK, Mauritius, anywhere in the country. You want to have that knowledge, to have what is obtainable in terms of taxes in just jurisdiction. And that's why you might also need to consider having a diploma in international taxation so that you understand what happens around there. Others are the accounting, qualifications that you might need: AAT from ICANN, ACA from ICANN, ACCA, ANA, CFA, which is the charter holder, CIMA, or diploma in IFRS. Those are some of the things you need. And interestingly, right, tax profession is getting very lucrative in recent times. You would see that there are average salaries for tax professionals, right? Entry level, you'll be earning around 180,000. By the time you get to your mid-career, 450. And when you start climbing up the cadre in terms of the cadre you have in every organization, you'll be earning like 900 and above. And what that means is that it's motivating enough for you to give in your best, so that while you're adding value to your profession, you're also being able to finance your own personal needs and be an accomplished professional. There are factors influencing all of these salary levels: your experience, what qualifications you have, the size of the employer, inflation, labor market, location, economic instability. All of this affect the kind of salaries that are payable to tax professionals, and which someone needs to take cognizance of, so that you look at what can give you a higher leverage in terms of bargaining power and earning rights. And opportunities for career advancement and progression. Professional practice, that would mean that you work in an accounting firm for which you ride through the cadre, and you also get to practice taxation. And some of the opportunities also include participating in tax reforms, or say the country wants to do VATE, which was the Voluntary Asset Income and Declaration Scheme. They need tax professionals to come together, intelligent people who have the vast experience to add value to that process. And of course, also talking about tax dynamics, there are a lot of dynamics in our taxes, especially with our laws, interpretations, and that's why you see taxpayers driving government to court, courts driving taxpayers to court, and all of that process. And with all of these qualifications and certifications and everything I had mentioned earlier, all of these training requirements are key for you to maintain your skill and remain relevant. You cannot talk about being a tax consultant or a tax accountant or a tax analyst without going for continued professional education programs, without updating yourself, keeping in touch with global standards on taxation, attending programs being organized by tax professionals, and also having organizations where tax is being regulated or being discussed. You can always contribute in all of those axes, and it helps you develop your skill, because this tax laws changes. We've been having Finance Act since 2019 up until date. The only one we've not had as the Finance Act 2022. I think that's apparently because of the election. So all of these are key for you to keep your development in check. Because if you're not careful, if you get all of those certifications and you go to bed, your relevance, get lost in that process. So you cannot afford to get outdated. You need to keep updating yourself, making sure that you've been able to, make as much value as you can. Recap of the key point discussed, talking about the qualifications you need, the skill, and also mentioning the fact that being a tax professional now, it gives you a lot of leverage. You can decide where to work. I can decide to work in an accounting firm and rise from the level of being an associate to being a partner in that firm. And I can also decide to set up my own firm and be a partner and employ other people to work with me. And I can also decide to work in multinationals where I get to be a tax officer, and I grow to the level of being a group tax manager across subsidiaries across the country. So it's a lot of development we're seeing ahead of time. And after all of this, it might be time to welcome questions and answers. And you might also want to ask yourself some of these basic questions, because if you have been able to answer all of this, trust me, as a tax professional, you'll find fulfillment in what you do. And you would not regret that you actually ran for the professional certification in the very first place. There's no benefit or there's no value for a certificate that is not impacting your life positively. You cannot have certifications to practice a profession and you're not succeeding in it, or you're not adding value, or you're not known for what you do. So all of these have to be checked. You need to make sure that if you ask yourself this question, you are also, as an individual, creating a niche for yourself. I'm a chartered accountant and a tax consultant. I can't do everything. And that is why, for me, the only thing I practice is taxation. I've decided to stay in that field in the last, say, 1 decade, over a decade now, to say, okay, tax is what I want to do, because accounting and finance is wide. We have colleagues who are cost accountants in companies. You have colleagues who are manufacturing products. You could have anybody doing anything. But if you have a need for yourself in the tax profession, you get to be able to be a go-to person, and that would make even your business valuable. You're able to get more businesses. You're adding value to the economy by advising people on how to pay taxes, making the economy a better place for everyone to live. And let me leave you with this food for thought, right? You might not know, but maybe just to refresh our minds, accounting and taxation are very key, right? Accounting has to do with finance. Taxation also has to do with financing and economy. And that's why accountants and tax professionals are needed everywhere, even in heaven, right? You would also notice that there were tax collectors in the Bible who were enriching themselves, and you have taxation everywhere in the world. So what you would do as a tax professional is to make yourself different and aspire to always beat the best version of yourself. Improve yourself on a daily basis. Keep seeking knowledge. There is a program for taxation. Attend it. You have a resource or write-ups that you have in terms of taxation. Read on them. It makes you a better professional. I would like to also, drop my point now, roll up on this, and I'll allow other facilitators to come on board. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adeyemi Afolabi Smith. I really appreciate your time. That was very educative and thought-provoking. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I'm sure many of our participants today have learned a lot from what you have said. That's the opportunities that exist in the tax industry. Thank you so much. So we'll be taking 1 or 2 questions before we move on to the next speaker. So if you have any question, kindly signify by raising your hand so that Mr. Adeyemi can do justice to that. Let's do that quickly. Thank you. Okay, seems we all understood him perfectly, and that is good. I actually agree that he was able to touch on the important points, and that's very good. So thank you once again, Mr. Adeyemi Afolabi Smith, for giving us your time and attention. Now moving on, we now move on to the next speaker, who is an assistant revenue officer with the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. She's a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and has more than 10 years experience as a tax administrator in Nigeria. Her name is Karima Abolaji Oninamina. Not Laminat, it's Lamina. Thank you so much for joining us today. Kindly unmute yourself and you have the floor. Thank you, Mrs. Lamina, Oni Lamina. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ridwan.
You're welcome. Please go ahead, ma'am. Okay. Okay, she's back. Yes, we can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone.
It's okay for you to put on your video if it is fine for you also.
I'm okay like this.
Okay, please go ahead then.
Or would everybody prefer I on my video? Okay, let's do it. Hello?
Yes, please go ahead, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. To take a cue from what the previous facilitator said, tax is one of the constant things in life. And it's really not what people like to do. I would say you hardly see anybody who wants to voluntarily comply to pay tax. That is why taxation is backed by law. It's the same thing with change. People do not easily embrace change. So the roles of tax administrators are wide. Like the previous facilitator said, their opportunities and their careers, there's a lot of room for growth, development, and of course, income. But I am to discuss the roles of tax administrators. And I would start by saying the basic tax administrators in Nigeria is the FIRS, that's the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the State Internal Revenue Services, that's the State Board of Internal Revenue Services, and the local government revenue committees. These are the people charged with administering tax, and administration goes from you registering taxpayers, we call it an enumeration. You have to bring a lot of people into the tax net, because the wider the tax net, the wider the revenue for the government, and the more income the government has through taxes, the more they're able to provide amenities that we have, that we get to use. One of the importance of having this tax enumeration is that a lot of people have things that require, the evidences, like I would say to a very large extent, everybody knows what is going on with the DTA, PTA now in our society. If you want to get access to your tax information, you have to start through all of your information that is submitted to your tax authority. And the tax authority is the relevant tax authority where you live. And those are the ones who administer your taxes. Another thing is assessment to tax. You don't just pay taxes. There's voluntary, there are people who go voluntarily to pay their taxes, but there has to be a basis of assessment. That is when our basis period comes in. But before you go into assessing anybody to tax, or you deciding this is the amount of tax a person should pay, there has to be a proper profiling. Profiling is going wide and deep into knowing the information that is required. What makes this person this? What do you think this person's level of income should be? What are the expenses that relates to this person? And why would you say the basis of assessment is this? That is sometimes if you go deep into tax, you go like the best of judgment. Best of judgment doesn't just come like a wand, a magic wand. It's something like based on the activities of people in this your field. We feel this is the kind of income you should be earning, and this is how we assess you to tax. So tax administrators have to have a deeper understanding of how to give the right amount of taxes, or maybe something within the right amount where the other tax practitioners will come in and probably defend or object. That's another thing. Another one is returns. It is important for companies and individuals to file in their returns. It's one thing for you to say you pay your taxes. You need to render your returns on a yearly or monthly basis as required. And all these things are backed by law. It's not just something anybody does anyhow. There's a way you do it. And when you file your returns, it has a way of making the information adequate. And from the private sector to the public sector, it gives room for less ambiguity. Everybody knows it. Okay, like for example, where I work now, the it's more technologically inclined now. It's a garbage in, garbage out. When you put in your information on e-tax, whatever it is you filed in as your returns is what you get, especially for a monthly payee of your staff. You're filing your payroll. You get to generate your bill through that. If you have staff who do not have payer IDs, they do not get to receive an alert that their taxes have been paid. When they get to a situation where they need evidences, they need to access government facilities, and they are being asked for their tax clearance, they don't have anything to show for it. While the administration is there, all you need to do is make sure you take advantage of it. There are a lot of avenues now that's being what would I say, propagated for you to learn more and know more about tax. That's one of the ways one of the roles of tax administrators. You need to teach and enlighten people, educate people about taxes. Tax is just a constant. It is as constant as death. People would pay. We would all pay taxes till we die. So long as there's something you earn, whether in fact even on earned income, you pay taxes on it. So long as there's income, then there's tax. And I don't think there's anybody that can survive without income. So when we're talking of the roles of tax administrators, another important role is that the tax administrators are the ones who enforce these tax laws. There are some people, like I said in the beginning, people hardly voluntarily want to pay tax. And in taxes, we have the case of avoidance and evasion. Avoidance, fine. Tax planning, you can do it. Take advantages of the loopholes of taxes, of the tax laws rather. But when it comes to evasion, and it is being detected, you need to be a vast tax administrator to know when to raise a penalty, when there is need for interest, when it will go into conviction and litigation. So all of those things are the roles of tax administrators. Another one is compliance monitoring. It is very, very important that we don't just we agree that some companies, some individuals are really compliant. They would really not ask you to start, you don't need to run after them before they pay their taxes. However, it doesn't mean they are paying the right amount of tax. So you need to watch out for their compliance level and how often. In fact, sometimes we go as much as having to put a reminder, because this reminders are especially for people who do not, and companies who would naturally not be compliant. It's those non-compliant ones that lead to sanctions, penalties, interest, and the likes. Another important one is the tax collection itself. I've mentioned registering tax payers, enlightening taxpayers, going about ensuring compliance. However, the tax collection itself is an important role for the tax administrators, and it should be done. It is done through the right means provided, the various means provided by. Hello, hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? So the tax collection is to be done through the various means provided. You don't just say because you want to pay tax, you have to pay the tax through the means provided by the tax administrators. And how do you get to know those means? You have to be educated. You need to seek the right knowledge. And it's not one thing for you to say, I also want to be a tax administrator. Like everybody has said in all of the talks, like there are career opportunities, there are also developmental opportunities. It's not just you pursuing a career in it. It's another thing for you to actually want to understand how the system works, because it's a good thing if you know more about how you are being taxed, so that you know when you are being cheated, because it happens. It's in this part of the world that you don't see people lay claims to, I have been overtaxed. We have a body for it. The Joint Tax Board reconciles double taxation between states. The Joint Tax Board clears risk, or what would I say, misunderstandings between. Hello, hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so to wrap it up, like my network is breaking. To wrap it up, tax, death, and change is constant. Key into the one that would be more beneficial, because all of these things are the laws that guide humans, whether written or unwritten. But the one that can make you grow and enjoy life more as a professional is really tax. And you would enjoy it. Thank you. Bye.
All right, thank you so much, Miss
Hello?
Please, can you hear my voice?
We can hear you. Hello?
Apology. I sincerely apologize for the fluctuation. So please permit me to quickly move the mic to the next speaker, who is going to be telling us on how to become your own boss as a tax consultant. If you really look at the discussion for today, you would agree with me that we actually started with all you need to know about the CITN exam. Then, having known what to know about the CITN exam, Abdulwasi actually tell us the importance of even having a CITN. After that, Mr. Adeyemi Smith actually talked about the career opportunities that we can actually explore in the tax industry. And all this, we are still coming together. They cannot go yet because I still have some series of questions for them, especially for Mr. Yemi and Karimat, because what they actually discussed actually revolve around the tax field. As well as now, we now actually cover it up with being a tax consultant of your own, in which Mr. Kadri Kabir Obafemi will be discussing with us. But who is this our speaker? Mr. Kadri actually hold a BSc degree in insurance from the
Mr. Kadri Kabir Obafemi, please go ahead and start your presentation.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning. We can't see your screen anymore. Can you please share it?
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be here. Once again, my name is Kadri Kabir Obafemi. Although I've made some write-up before now, but fortunately enough, all I need to say about having being a member of CITN, have been said by my other colleagues, but I would like to, at this point, speak from the heart. It's just, basically on how to really monetize the skills, the knowledge, and all we have got in the process of, I haven't written the exam and passed, how to monetize that knowledge you have actually gathered. So permit me to speak from the heart. Okay, thank you very much. So the learning objective of this my discussion will be based around who a tax consultant is and the duties of a tax consultant, what it takes to become a successful tax consultant, particularly in Nigeria, our country, with the required skills needed to be an effective tax consultant. And also, I'll talk about developing your business plan and marketing strategy as a tax consultant, building your own client base and managing them successfully, and maybe little talk about finance. So, thank you. So, like I already said, who is a tax consultant? A tax consultant is said to be a professional who gives comprehensive and strategic advice on tax-related matters to companies and individual taxpayers. A tax consultant could also be referred to as one who works with individual organizations to minimize potential tax liability and ensure compliance to tax laws. On another hand, you could also refer to a tax consultant to mean someone who gives comprehensive tax regulation to minimize tax liability and address client objective. As Mr. Adeyemi Smith has earlier said, particularly in our country today, we have the non-oil, the oil and non-oil revenue. So based on the vandalization happening in the oil and the oil theft happening in the oil part of the revenue generation of the federal government, they are now coming down to mostly the non-oil. So that's the service organizations, the manufacturing organization, and others are the one being chased after now. So as a tax consultant, you need to understand the law to know how to really position your client and see how you can take advantage of it to position them rightly to avoid them from liability, unnecessary liabilities. Having said that, you as a tax consultant need to really engage your clients to do some certain things for them. Basically, as a tax consultant, you need to provide advice and support to organizations on various tax issues. Particularly, you need to be able to guide your clients on facilitating their tax planning. You need to provide tax advice to your clients, and also preparing tax documents, filing tax returns, and to mention but a few, and also keeping up to date with the tax laws, and also to act as your client representative when it comes to tax audit and also interfacing with the tax authorities, either the state or the federal. So in order not to take time, because I'll just be summarizing most of our discussion, because our earlier facilitators have said so much about, except the few ones which have not been talked about are the ones that are really key on, what it takes to be a successful tax consultant in Nigeria. To stay ahead in the tax consultancy space, you need to be strategically positioned to assess opportunity. However, you can only do this when you have the required knowledge. That is, when you are knowledgeable to do it. As an individual need to possess specific education, professional certification, and some required skills, professional skills, to become a tax consultant. All of which have been mentioned by the earlier facilitators. They talked about education, that is first degree, and the master's degree could also be of advantage. So also they mentioned to us, which is the key reason why we are here today, is to talk about the professional certification, particularly the one being given by the Chartered Institute of Taxation. The Chartered Institute of Taxation, for you to become a tax consultant, you must and you should be a member of the Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. And how you can become a member is why you are here. Please, at the end of this exercise, endeavor to get across to the organizers of this session to get more knowledge on how to become a CITN member and also how the required exams to, that you need to become a CITN member. So, having said that, the certification, like I earlier said, the CITN certification will enhance the skills and knowledge of the tax professionals. This also opens further opportunities and enable tax consultants to provide additional services to the clients. And apart from that, having earned the certificate through the exams and you have been certified after the induction, you will still be required to attend. So you'll be mandated to attend the mandatory continuing professional development programs being organized by the Institute. So as well, for you to become a tax consultant, you need to be registered and licensed by the Institute of Chartered Taxation of Nigeria. And for you to also end that, you need to attend the mandatory continuing professional development of not less than 30 credit hours in a year. And in all, you need 90 credit hours within the 3 years of your practice under a firm to end this, after which you'll be licensed to become a tax practitioner. And as a tax practitioner, you need to have some specific skills, which are, you need to have a good accounting skills. You need to have the ability to do financial analysis. That is key. You cannot avoid that. You need to be able to do your financial analysis, to do good tax planning, to have the required knowledge on tax laws. You need to also pay attention to details. Your organization skills, your communication skills must be top-notch. You must have ability to also do research, do good research, which will earn you that. Okay, I haven't said that. I mean, just to summarize what the earlier speakers have said. So this will now take us to the business of the day. That is how to become a successful tax practitioner, or how to become your own boss as a tax consultant. For you to become your own boss, you need to own a firm of the, a practicing firm. Your practicing firm must be registered by the CAC. You must be registered with the CAC. Haven't done that, you need to also get yourself the license, the practicing license. After which, you need to now have your home business plan. So let me walk you through on what you need to, developing your business plan and having a marketing strategy. First and foremost, as an incoming tax consultant, be able to go ahead to analyze the market, the available market. Market research can help you to understand your strengths, weakness, and the opportunities that can be taken to your own advantage. As we all know, the economy is divided into different sectors. We have the oil and gas, the service industry, the manufacturing, we have the banking industry, to mention but a few. You need to personally look at your strengths. Because as a tax consultant, you can't have it all, although you need to also, you will engage, maybe have some other partners in your firm or to engage other employees. But before then, you as the pioneer of a tax consulting firm should first and foremost do this little assignment on your own by developing your business plan and what the market asks for you. You need to make that research. So also you need to set your goals and objectives. Why are you in the business? You need to know yourself that, okay, why am I in business? Am I there to really do the business or to practice for some time and leave? Am I here for temporary purpose? Or, you need to, on your own, determine that, okay, haven't set your goals and determined what the objective should be. You need to outline your marketing strategies. This will help you to determine what and what to do, both to set both short-term strategies, medium-term strategies, and also the long-term strategies for your firm to be a going concern one. You need to do that. So also you need to also set the budget, because coming into that kind of, the consultancy space, you need to probably have a system, a laptop to yourself, the internet connection, or office space, and probably a small printer for a start, because just for you to hit the ground running, because you can't have everything at the point of commencement. It is as time goes on, when you develop, you put in place other things. You also need to keep in mind your marketing plans up to date. You need to have a marketing plan, because if you don't have any plans, you might really not get to the right audience, or even get the right clients. Or when you even have the right clients, you might not end up sealing the deals because you don't have the right plans on ground for you coming into the business. So these are things you must have at the back of your mind, and you must also establish for you to be in the consultancy space. Having said all this, you need to also, the main determinant of you surviving in the tax consulting space now is clients. You need to build your own clients, and also managing the clients successfully is another thing. As a small client, don't be surprised when you win a deal of almost 3 to 4 million. But if you don't have the right plans on ground, you might end up forfeiting those deals. That is, having clients that could pay you as much as that amount I mentioned. So building your client base and managing them successfully. So you will need to transcend fears and embrace courageous action to pursue your aspiration. Having at the back of your mind that the capacity to accomplish anything you set your mind to, you will boldly take that audacious leap of faith and witness the unfolding of remarkable outcomes. Moreover, embarking on your own self-business endeavor, you of becoming, your home boss, offers you valuable lessons for personal growth. As a small business, as a small consulting firm owner, you know that reaching out to the right customers or the right client is crucial for your success. That's why it's important for you to carefully identify and target your audience. It's very important. You need to also, from time to time, improve on your customer base, because without clients, the knowledge, the skills, and the certificate might not be well utilized. That's why you see, some consultants who might have even, started without a good plan, end up becoming an employee. When you're a tax consultant, you have your own firm, and you've set the right goals for yourself, and you have the right determination, you can be in that space for as long as possible, because you need to have a medium, You have the short-term plan, the medium, and the long-term. So all this will earn you a great growth in the space. In the space, it will really earn you within the short time. You will definitely get the right clients. You need to also, from time to time, improve customer base. And what will earn you this increase in customer base is loyalty that you earn in business. It is the loyalty and also your ability to get more referrals. If you can work on your existing client's job on a very good note, they will definitely refer you. You get better referrals from different sources. So these are things you need to keep in mind in going into the consultancy space. All I'm saying here is just about you becoming your own boss. As a tax consultant, okay, I haven't gotten the certification, gotten the required skills and knowledge. You might choose, you definitely choose not to be an employee in an organization. You determine that, okay, fine, you want to train with a firm for a while, then move out of there to become your home boss. So becoming your home boss, though, is not an easy task, but it's something that worth it when you have the required skills and knowledge. In the long run, it will definitely worth it. So, having said that, managing finances and resources efficiently is another key thing. Although most of the tax consulting firms, particularly the small ones, start by, through the bootstrap. That is, without involvement of no one, in the service industry, you might not really get investors, except you get partners for yourself. That's only when you can talk about raising funds. But mostly, the funds you would need to start with would come from your personal purse or from your personal savings. That is, you need to raise funds for your medium or small office that you want to start with. You need to probably, you need to be moving from one place to the other, because as a tax practitioner, your clients will hardly visit your office. You'll be the one to move. So you need to save up to be able to take care of your movement from one place to the other. And if you hold the car to yourself, it will also help you. But you just need to save up for, public maintenance and because for the starts, it might not be as easy as that. But as time goes on, when you've been able to get your feet right in this space, you'll be able to, manage all these things. Except if you want to go into partnership with other, some other friends and folks that are willing to join force with you, then it might be much more a greater experience for you to, do that. So another thing I would like to also mention here is just you need to also create a budget for yourself. You need to save first and spend later. Set a financial goal, and the better it is for you to, as soon as you start making good revenue in the space, you need to also save up. You need to save up for the big days and for the long-term objective of the company and also avoid debts when you are in your self business like that. You need to avoid debts. You need to be able to manage yourself, cut your coats, according to your body, and also save early and ensure you ensure you protect against emergencies. So these are things that will really help you. Okay, to wrap up all this conversation is really we're talking about how to really monetize your idea. That is, if you haven't gotten all this certification and you chose not to work with the, what's it called, as an accountant or a tax accountant in an organization, or you choose not to be part of the tax administrators, you feel you want to be an intermediary between the taxpayers and the government agency. So you have possessed the required knowledge and skills. You decide that means you want to monetize your skills and knowledge. So you can decide to go into the consulting space. Although initially it might be tough, but as time goes on, when you begin to master all you need to master in the process, then you get to that destination you are going. So if you have any, at this stage, if you have any question, then you can ask them. So thank you very much. I would like to drop pen at this point. Thank you. And thanks to the organizers for inviting me to speak at this event. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you and increase in knowledge and everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It has really been a wonderful presentation. And I so much believe that just as I've tapped mine, others has also done so. From what Mr. Kabira has discussed with us, that is all the required skills and knowledge for us to actually become our own boss as a tax consultant and working in the space of a consulting, working in a space as a consultant. Either you are under employment, or you want to actually use it as a freelance. Being a consultant is actually what should interest us much more, if I'm not really making a mistake. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful presentation. But before we quickly go to the next presenter, which happens to be Mr. Abdulhafiz Adebimpe, I would quickly like to chip in this, which will really come in form of just a little interaction between my speakers that has actually spoken earlier, because there are some questions, though questions are still coming from the participants, but there are really some questions based on all the discussions. And I also have, I really have an experience that I would also like to share, which is actually an encounter between me and Mr. Adeyemi Afolabi Smith. Because I could remember vividly, just as Kabira has said. Let me just ask the question so that I will not actually share his story here. So please, Mr. Folabi Smith, I would like to have your attention. Then Mr. Kabiru, I would like to have your attention, as well as Ms. Karimot. I would like to have your attention as well. And this is going to cut across what we have really discussed with us today. Because I really see that your topic of discussion actually centered on the tax industry. And you are all tax experts that we are really looking up to. I think I could remember I told Mr. Adeyemi that I'll be collecting his suits. And it has always been a motivating factor to me, right from onset. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much, everybody, for the wonderful presentation. Yeah, one of what actually caught my attention, apology for missing the others, is that for someone to really become a tax consultant, one really needs to be attending the mandatory development program being organized by ICANN or CITN, another professional body. But how do we really go about it? Knowing fully well that I'm not really getting the information, I do not have the information, and I'm not getting any mail that's actually inform me about the upcoming mandatory development program of this institute. Mr. Kabir, I would like to direct the question to you. How do we really enroll for this MDCS or MCDs, which is mandatory and compulsory development program being organized by the institute? Can you please enlighten us more on that?
Okay, Mr. Kabir, thank you very much. Yes. I said thank you very much, Mr. Ariyomi.
It's my pleasure.
Particularly, I would like, I want to base all my talk about on this session to the CITN. Although since the fact that what we're talking about here is strictly the CITN space, so I want to. So in saying that, the CITN and other professional institutions as well have been using the medium of the email, most especially now. I'm not talking about then, but right now, they've been using the medium of email and SMS to communicate most of this MTP, PDP stuff, for continue, because as soon as you enroll, they'll ask for your email. So, and that email have always been used to get across to people. And also, another means could be at every of their programs. Take, for instance, induction programs or annual task conference. They make announcement about it, or annual dinners, which, they make announcement of series of their MCP, or at times, if you don't get any of such email, you can also visit their websites. All this publication about the MCPD program is always there. And particularly, I don't know, maybe what's it called? ICANN Online, being your institution, could also help in disseminating such information to people that I wouldn't know, but those are the means which are adopted for now. And equally, you can also visit their, their office for inquiry about the MCP programs as well. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Ariyomi. Hello. Do we still have him there? Hello. Hello, Mr. Ariyomi, can you unmute? Hello, Mr. Layani. Hello.
Maybe we can actually hear you.
Hello.
Might be Ariyomi's network. Can you hear us?
Yes, me, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. So it might be Ariyomi's network or line.
Okay. Mr. Smith, you can also make addition. I mean, add to what I've said. I think you have the floor, sir.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I think the most comprehensive thing to do, for any professional body you belong to, right, is to make sure that you have the program, the annual MCP program, CPD program from any of the institutes on an annual basis, because it will state the programs are going to be held, the modalities for all of those trainings, and that can help you plan yourself to say, okay, you know what, in every quarter I'm just going to attend one of these trainings, and you pick the date and you make the decision for it, and you get done with it. Because the way the institutes work now, I think they have a lot on their hands, so they might send emails and it might not reach everyone. So you might need to be intentional to get a brochure yourself on an annual basis so that it can enable you plan to attend at least a minimum of 4 times in a year. I think that would work. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Smith, for that wonderful addition. It has really been a great pleasure. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Kabiru. I really appreciate. So please permit me to quickly go to the next one. And this is my question. I'll be directing it to Mr. Smith in particular. How do we actually, from Mr. Kabiru's speech, he actually said that we should set a goal, an objective, in order for us to, that we really want to achieve, in order for us to really work as a consultant and become our own boss. But the challenges therein is, how do I achieve my aim? How do I even achieve the set goals? Knowing fully well that I'm not really working in an environment that supports that goals. For example, apology to everybody working in the bank. Let's assume that I'm working in the bank as a tailoring, and I want to pursue a career in accounting and as a tax consultant. You know, to me, it does not align. How do I really go about that? Mr. Smith, you have the speaker.
Okay, so look, my brother, we need to be sincere with ourselves. In life, something must give, something has to give, right? Which is part of the reasons why I prefer, as an individual, maybe not everyone, I prefer that whatever employment one would get, right, should be such that you can also start your own business from that same employment. Because imagine doing 10 years in the bank, right, working as a staff of the bank for 10 years. You might leave the bank at the end of 10 years, and you might not be able to get a plot of land, not talk of establishing a bank, right, which is not the same with our profession. So when I say something has to give, if someone is currently in a bank, trust me and trust me, to be sincere with you, and the person wants to pursue a career in tax, the right thing to do, right, is to leave the banking work and join an accounting firm. There will be compromise on how much you earn, because to an accounting firm, they will still have to train you on what you need to do, the knowledge you need to get, but the end justifies the means. So if one is working with a person wants to be a tax consultant or a tax practitioner, it might be the best option for the person to opt out to leave the bank. You might probably have a 50% pay cut for one like an accounting firm will pay you, which is not the case these days anyway. I think practitioners are earning more than any of the bankers, right? But even if it's a medium firm and they cannot afford to pay you, it's just a matter of time. If one joins an accounting firm and gets, try to gather as much knowledge as possible in the space of 2-3 years, you can start your own business from there, right? Or if the person does not want to leave the bank, maybe the practical thing to do is for the person to get certification in the tax fair and intentional trainings on weekends, so that for Saturday and Sunday, what I'm practicing is just this taxation on the weekend. On the Monday, I resume my bank work, right? Because of the peculiarity of our environment, so that you don't leave a job now and you're roaming everywhere looking for another job, right? Or because of financial responsibilities that people have. So it might also be a time to say, okay, do some self-development, ask friends and colleagues who practice taxation, and request that they add you to the platforms that they belong to. Some of those platforms, people share real life issues, people ask for advices, and one can also learn from there. So for me, I think those are the channels one can quickly, look at exploring. But I think there are greater advantages ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Deyemi. I actually thought that your, how can I call it? Your response will change, because I could remember I was one of your mentees some years ago, in which you gave the same advice to me, and I have to quit my banking job. Like seriously, even though what I actually picked up then was even far below what I was even earning in the bank, even less than the half of what I was earning in the bank. But the rest is a story now. Glory be to God, and thanks to you once again for that. So for anybody that's really working in an environment or a space that don't really support your career prospect, sincerely speaking, that is one of the best advice that we could take up. Initially, by the time you're trying to make the move, which may sound as if, what about all my financial obligation? But if you are just look at the future, the ends justify the mean. I said, like seriously, you'll be happy. All what you just needed in the accounting firm is just a year more. In fact, just a year or even less than a year. You'll be happy you're doing it. Learning what you are actually writing the exam for, or practicing what you are learning would really I don't really know what to say, but I think I'm a living witness here. Thank you so much, Mr. D. We still have many more questions for you because I'm just like me having my mentor on program. If not because of the network, I really, when you presented, I wouldn't have let you just have a break, but it's fine. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, let me be directing my next question to our woman leader, Ms. Karimat, who actually talks to us about the tax administrator. Yeah, Ms. Karimat, are you there? Can you hear my voice? Karimat, are you there?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I can hear your voice.
Okay, thank you so much, Karimat. There has always been this norm that if you really want to have a successful dealing with the tax officials, which we call the, what do we call them? We call them the government agency, FRS, LRS. I have to know people there. What's your perceptions to that? Is that not correct or is just a norm? For instance, I want to file, let's say I want to serve as a consultant for just a small company, and I feel like, okay, let me file their returns for them. And I keep getting issue because I do not know somebody there. Is that really how the system works, being a tax administrator? What's your perception to that?
That's a fallacy.
Oh, really? Wonderful. Yes. Tell us more.
I'm a tax administrator. You don't need to know me before you file your taxes. We have a website. Go visit our website. You have, I want to pay my tax, file your returns. It is even so user-friendly that you don't need to interface with anybody. All you need to do is ask questions. And there's a chat box that you get your response almost immediately. So where is it coming from? It's just the notion people have about government agencies. Right? For one can tell you it's a fallacy.
Wow. But Ms. Karimat, sorry, I will be dragging you here because I do really have some friends that are really doing CAC registration, you know, as an accountant or as CITN student, someone that is just trying to, you know, have some side business, just as advised. And I'm like, okay, let me even start with registration of a company and be doing like small inventory counting for a company. But I registered with CAC just on the platform. I could remember chat with that chat box. It's not really responsive. We don't have a timely response as required. Then CAC keeps pushing us there and there. Isn't that how it is?
You know that first, I do not speak for my agency. One, and I am not an employee of CAC. I'm an employee of the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. And what I just explained to you is that if you visit www.etax.lirs.net, it is as user-friendly as it can get. I want to believe Mr. Smith and Mr. Kabir would agree with me that the platforms are not that cumbersome, and you don't really need anybody to access the platform or use the information. In fact, if you are not able to reach your account, you can reset your password so long as your email address you registered with is correct. Your phone number, all of your details. What I said about roles of administrators, when we collect those information, we synchronize it with your BVN in the bank. You cannot give false information. If anybody is giving a wrong date from what they have on their BVN, they cannot get a KI. I want to believe those who have interfaced with that platform knows what I'm talking about. And I cannot go beyond this. It's a government agency, and I do not represent the agency. I am just educating you as a tax practitioner here today. So do not put me on the spot.
Thank you so much for that. I hope my people can also hear you clearly, and everybody are already compiling the question. Thanks so much for that. Let me quickly move my mic to Mr. Kabir. Yes, sir.
sorry, let me just make addition to what Ms. Karima have said, in addition to what they have said. Although the platforms, both thanks for that. I mean, I want to appreciate her for the disclaimer she just put on the, what we are discussing here is just, is a simple thing. You shouldn't be referenced in any poll. Although what you have said is okay, it's very, very much okay. But at the same time, when you have issues assessing your platform, the user-friendly platform though, but when you have issues like that, it is best possible for you to just put up a letter to that effect and send to the required authority, either the FRS or the State Internal Revenue. Just put up a letter and state in summary the issues you are facing, you are having, or probably some errors you have encountered in the process of using the platform. You get just state that. As soon as you state that, submit to them, they will rectify whatever issues there and get back to you. With immediate effect, almost immediate effect.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Yes,
thanks so much for that, Mr. Kabiru. Actually, the mic is still with you, sir. It has always been the challenges for students, especially those that are really working, in passing their exam, which actually have to be, for instance, CITN exam. Let's also take, for instance, I'm working as an account officer. Just for instance, I'm working as an account officer. I'm not really the one that handle all the tax aspects. How do you think I can successfully pass the CITN exam without engaging practically in all these tax activities?
Okay. Thanks for, thank you once again, on that question, to be candid with her, we all know what it takes, particularly when we are doing things, when we are not practicing some of these things we want to actually apply in the exam. Although, on the other hand, there are some people that will even practice more than the practitioners and still fail the exams. Okay. So everything now still boils down the person or the student now. You must be able to make adequate research, regardless of your prior knowledge on the subject. You must be able to make research and align it with what you even know, what you know on the subject. Make research and align together. And these are, and also sub-past questions. Sub-past questions, particularly on the area of case studies. With all these put together, would give you a good chance of you passing your exam. And particularly now that the cutoff mark has been, is always attached to the passing. At least for you to make research, tough pass questions, and also align your prior knowledge of the subject to the. At least that alone will fetch you and attend lectures. I also advise you to attend lectures. Always listen and pay attention to details to your lecturers. It would help you, all this put together will help you pass your exam, whichever way. And also attend. Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. And also we will advise you attend ICANN online for your lectures as well, because they have good and quality lecturers that will give you all you need to know about every subject for you to pass the exam. Let me put it that way. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful response. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Actually, in management, I really have a lot to ask you because it's like me having all my bosses in the house. How would I even go about it? It's actually been giving me a kind of challenges, even though the network wants to kick me out of the discussion. But my God is mightier than the network. Mr. Smith, let me come back to you, sir. Are you still with us? Mr. Smith, aside from you really being a mentor to me, you're also a mentor to many young lads out there. And you do give us a timely information on your LinkedIn and on your other social network, and especially everything that pertains to tax entirely, and not just being limited to PWO, which is organization, but in tax entirely and other information in accounting and finance field. Mr. Smith, what has actually been your driving force? And if you could give a specific advice to the youth, the young lad, what would it have been? And how do you even get such inspiration? I know this is what I need to discuss at this particular time, that you also catch attention. Most of us be like, oh, thank you for sharing.
Okay. So I think that I want to be as practical as possible, right? Well, we give all glory to God now. My eyes have seen Shege in the past, right? And I'm not saying that I've seen what my eyes have seen. You want to receive it, you know. So driving force for me is the fact that I want to be better than my predecessors, right? I want to be the first to reckon with. In Nigeria first, before talking about the global, you know, the global outlook, I want to be as relevant as possible in the field, right? And that would take me to the advice I would have for the upcoming generation is to pick a hustle. You can't be everything. Be known for one thing and be the best at it. You cannot be everything, no matter how chartered, how qualified you are. You need to pick a hustle. Every field you see, and that's why you see that someone can be a medical doctor and it's just a gynecologist. Someone else is just, you know, so people have fields in every profession. Lawyers, you have some of them that do petition, have the arbitrators, you have the legislators, everyone picks a field. Yes, you're a tax consultant. Yes, you're a chartered accountant. You can do everything. Yes, you know everything. You've done it in exam. Yes. Or you need to pick it also. Just one thing. That one thing can never fail if you put all the energy and resource into it. Our country is getting to the point where for you to even succeed, you must be known to do something and you're doing it very well. But, you know, because of the economic pressure that we have as a country, people rather do 10 things at a time so that money can come from everywhere. Yes, it's fine, but you might not be known for anything. Talking about forensic, you are there. Fraud investigation, you are sitting there. Tax consulting, you are there. Management consulting, you are there. HR, human resources, you're also there. Baba, you can't be everywhere. And that is why I would say that for everyone that intends to have is whatever drives you. And one thing about taxation, it is very dynamic, right? If you look at the tax laws that we have, you have them in pages, hundreds of pages. You have changes in terms of evolution, amendments, and all of that. And you have peculiarities applying in different industries. And that's why, as an individual, in my opinion, that's why I'm not doing statutory audits, right? Although there are changes in IFRS and all of that, but I feel that, okay, it's so routine for me as an individual. But for tax, you know, you can have a provision that says this today. That's what you've been doing for 10 years. And there comes a law that says no, or someone challenges it in court and says that, oh, this law is no longer applicable. And everyone switches. I like the fact that you've been able to interact with tax authorities in different perspectives. And so if you pick taxation as your area of practice, you also need to broaden your tentacles on it. The only reason why I left, I used to work with Ernst & Young, EY, before joining Pedabo. And the only reason I left EY was because I was in a unit called Global Compliance and Reporting, GCR. And I felt that what I was doing there was not enough for me to start a firm if I want to start a firm. So I joined a firm where once I do taxation, I do everything that has to do with taxation. So even if I have to start a firm, I know everything about that taxation. And for me, to the glory of God, it has always worked. You know, we can always have chit chats, you know, in terms of encouraging ourselves. When there is need, any one of us can just reach out. Any one of you guys can also reach out. But you know, there are better days ahead. Let's pray that God helps us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adeyemi Afolabi. We really appreciate all the speakers that are here today. I think Mr. Oyomi has been thrown out of the meeting probably due to network.
I'm even back. I just came back.
Okay, it's back now.
No, I mean
okay,
me.
It's back now. Okay, Mr. Oyomi, please go ahead.
Thank you so much for that, sir. So before I eventually move the mic to the next person, Mr. Smith, what will be your parting words for us today?
Okay, I'll just encourage also to, start to do the best we can in whatever we choose to do. Business is getting very competitive. Employment is getting broader. So it's left for people who have the necessary skills to get the employment. In my firm, for instance, we are consistently doing interviews now because you have people relocating, you have people changing jobs. And so there are a lot of opportunities for people who have the technical know-how to actually bring that value on board, So there are a lot of opportunities out there. Let's just keep enhancing ourselves, our skills. It will cost money, right? To write exams, time, to, also buy books, read as much as possible. And the sky can only be our starting point. I'd like to stop at that. Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It has really been a wonderful session with you, and it's a great pleasure for me to be in this session with you. Once again, thank you so much for your time. We pray for God's wisdom, more knowledge, understanding, and blessing all around the world. Thank you so much, sir, for having you. Mr. Kabiru, I hope you are there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Kabiru, I know you know me. So, Mr. Kabiru, what has really been your driving force that keeps you going in the space of accounting and finance field?
Okay, thanks for that question.
Hello, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ayomi, for that question. I know before now you have my profile, so you actually knew that my background in my first degree is not from the accounting and finance. Yes, I'm a graduate of insurance. So basically, it's something of one interest and your what I mean. When I started then, when we were young, I've always wanted to be an accountant, of which we put in for several admissions into different schools, but at times it's filled up. At times, in most cases, accounting is always very tough. And then you hardly get admission into accounting before over 200 and 250 students. So I had to just determine myself. This time around, that was 2006-07. No, this year should be my year. Nothing should stop me from getting admission. I chose accounting and you chose insurance as my as the second option. Of which I was given admission into insurance. I went ahead and pursued my first degree in insurance, which is also even an added advantage for me today. And that doesn't stop me. I still went ahead to pursue my professional certification in ICANN and also in CITN. To come to your question now, what have been the driving force? The profession itself doesn't push you to just one hand. And in most, as an accountant, you have an opportunity to do so many things. It's not a must to work with the bank. It's not a must you work in the service industry or manufacturing, or you can decide to choose whichever you want to belong to. So the accounting and finance field have just been something of good interest to me because I've had the opportunities to really go through getting required knowledge in the process, And in the timeline, I've spent a lot of time gathering knowledge, even almost forgetting everything I learned in insurance, except for some few which I use today. So the space I've always, has given me a whole lot of opportunity to try and to be able to become somebody independent of my own, even without depending on any sort of employment. You get, because after my practice, with a firm, I still went ahead to move to another firm. I've always been opportunity in that space. So leaving the space is not something I'm actually thinking about this time, because I've really taken a whole lot, and it interests me to, and meeting, it's given me an avenue to meet a whole lot of people in the space as well. You meet people, you meet practitioners, non-practitioners, and you share ideas. You share ideas together, and you talk about, so many things. So the space I've just really find so much interest, which I can't even define on my own. They're even, so thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And what would be your parting words for us today?
Oh, I will basically, for the purpose of this session, for the, this is an open day. Yes. I want to implore all all prospects involved in this session to, at the end of this program, to contact immediately. I know you must have learned a lot in the course of we having this session, to contact the ICANN online for your enrollment for the October CITN exams. And ICANN online has all it takes to make you a chartered tax practitioner. So I want to implore you to please come on board, be our students, and we'll have all it takes to give you the required knowledge for you to pass your exam at one sitting without having reference. Because we've got quality and good facilitators, lecturers, around us to give you that knowledge. And also endeavor to tell people who did not participate in this open day session your experience and what you've learned, and why they should also enroll with ICANN online tutors for the CITN certification examination now. So I wish you all the best. And having passed your exams, there is a lot of opportunity in the tax space, particularly in this new administration. There will be loads of opportunities for most of the practitioners. So you have an avenue to, this is a very good opportunity for you to get the required certification and come on board, and let's start the practice together, and let's make the joy together in the practice. Thank you very much. Mr. Ariami? Mr. Lion, probably you take over. I think probably we lost this thing. Hello, Mr. Lion. Okay, Mr. Ariami, you are there. Please, thank you very much. Hello, sir.
Mandego.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining the call today. We really appreciate. To all our speakers, we appreciate you for joining us today and making contributions to this discussion. And to all our participants, thanks also for joining us today. We will now be bringing this event to an end. Thank you, and God bless you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah.